Hello guys, today we will introduce you to the one of the most famous families in organic chemistry, which is haloganoalkane. So in general speaking, haloganoalkane belong to the alkane family, but one of the bonds is going to be replaced by a halogen. And you notice that the halogens that we're going to study are the chlorine, bromine, or iodine. Question now, how can I identify the halogen in halogenoalkane compound? We can do that by a simple chemical test. The chemical test that we're going to use is aqueous silver nitrate, AgNO3, aqueous, and ethanol. Okay, so we prepared this mixture, we add it to the halogenoalkane. By the way, we call this reaction substitution. Okay, so what will happen in this case? Let's take an example. So suppose that we have C5H11Br, and then we add Ag and O3. Okay, in aqueous form, we put ethanol as a solvent, and we're gonna have the two products in this case. The products will be alcohol and AgBr. Okay, so the alcohol that we're going to have, the halogenoalkane in this case will undergo a substitution in which this halogenoalkane will change to alcohol, and the product in this case is going to be C5H10OH, in which is pentanol, in addition to silver bromide in form of solid state. And as we can see, silver bromide has a creamy precipitate color, So the observation in this case is going to be the creamy precipitate. And as a result of that, we can deduce that it contains Br. But suppose that we had C5H11Cl and we add it to AgNO3, aqueous, and dissolved in ethanol. The product is going to be pentanol as well, C5H11OH, and we have a substitution in addition to AgCl, and AgCl is white precipitate. So the observation in this case will be white precipitate, and then we can deduce that the halogen that we have is chlorine. But if we have the same compound, C5H11I, in which we have iodine as a halogen, and then we add it to AgNO3 again in aqueous form, we put in ethanol, you will have C5H11OH, but AgI. And AgI in this case has a yellow precipitate. Since you have yellow precipitate, then the halogen that you have is iodine. The question now, how can I write the ionic equation of the precipitate in which is AgX? And we have to state samples as well. So first of all, if we have a chloride ion, the chloride ion, once they are free from the halogenoalkane, they will start to react with silver nitrate. And put in your mind, the chlorine here, it will be in aqueous form, and the combination between the two oppositely charged will lead to AgCl in form of solid state. AgCl is white precipitate. But if we have a bromine in aqueous form as a halogen, and it has a negative charge as well, once it reacts with the silver ion in aqueous form, it will lead to form AgBr in form of solid state for sure, with a creamy precipitate. And finally, if we have iodine in aqueous form, it reacted with Ag plus in aqueous form as well, lead to form AgI in solid state, and in this case, it's in yellow precipitate. The color of the precipitate can tell us a lot of information about the type of halogen that we have.